heart.
Following you along.
We were also in a Classback episode that went up last week. That was pretty cool.
Beautiful.
It's pretty awesome.
One of our best episodes yet.
I loved Toby. I'm not saying that because he's not holding me hostage. What do you mean?
He's not actively holding us at gunpoint.
No, he's letting me say whatever I want. And on my own free will, I've decided to only hold positive feelings towards him. Welcome, everybody, back to another episode of the GrubCast. Oh, boy.
Your favorite grub-related cast.
We're getting back into some crazy shit. By which I mean... we've reset everything. It's all. In fact, welcome back to episode 1 of the GrubCast.
Episode 1, Act 2.
Post-scratch GrubCast is going to be a little bit different. We are actually now a drawing podcast. We will never talk about Homestuck ever again.
But anyway, the Art and Demon Slayer, crazy, right?
I've had it told to me by a reliable source, aka Ninja, that Demon Slayer is the greatest anime ever made.
Oh, man.
So there you go. Anyway, we got some fan art from some lovely individuals.
I can't wait to see it. First
off, thanks to Sunny Flower in the Discord server.
Oh, man.
This came out very quickly. Like the Classback episode went up, and immediately Sunny was like, I'm on it.
Perfect.
So yeah, yes. It's me as Barack Obama, President Barack Obama.
Yes, with your new Classback, President of Piss.
President of Piss. One who governs their aspect. Yeah.
You gotta keep all that piss in check.
Oh, God. That piss is on lockdown. Oh, it's beautiful. Thank you very much, Sunny Flower.
Beautiful, yes.
Some more lovely art out of Grub Boys from Harmony in the Discord server. God damn. We are making some eyes at each other. Are we getting into the GrubCast shipping arc? Is that what this is?
Like, it looks like a fight, but it's also kind of
There's some weird sexual tension going on in this image.
I don't know if I'm about to rap like fire bars as an attack or a love song.
Whisper sweet nothings into my ear. Rapper ET. It was beautiful. Thank you very much, Harmony. And then also from Harmony, we had a little something.
Oh.
Please take your assorted headphone. We're only going to watch a little bit of this.
Oh, man.
Because you, audience member, should watch the rest of it yourself. And the link will be in the description. Grub Boys Fago review. Review 1. Here we are. It's uploaded in 360p. That's the highest. There we go. Well, there we are. We're little cardboard people. It's like so hard to hear. It's so low res. I love it.
It's beautiful.
So good. Look, we got little Fago cans.
Why is this the cutest thing ever?
It's so cute. We bumped cups for cheers. Huh. I got a little thumbs up. Oh, I love this. Anyway.
Oh, man. That's great.
You, audience member, listening to this right now, and also you, ET, in real life, should go watch this later. It is linked in the description.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Harmony. I appreciate this immensely. It is beautiful. Holy fuck. I love it.
I'm going to watch all of it.
That's all the fan art. Of course, as always, make sure that you, lovely listener, look down below and join our Discord server to talk to some cool Homestucks, including me and ET, who are cool and also Homestucks.
Yes.
And then if you want to, be superior as a human being to every other person in the Discord server, how do you do that? Yeah. Well, you do that by joining our Patreon.
That's how you attain true supremacy.
That's what you do to ascend to God tier, is you join our Patreon. And then when you do that, then you get a cool Discord role, and people in the $5 tier get this awesome artwork from all the episodes, from the current episode and all the previous episodes. The one this week, look, you can look on screen to see our lovely Act 6 artwork here, done by me, yours truly.
Act 6.
Oh, it's so beautiful. It's great, and thank you so much to all of our lovely patrons: Lizard King, Changeable Landscape, Ada, Blue Liz, Toby Classic Expert, my Homestuck Dante, and Mia Bowman, all in the $5 tier. Thank you all so much for giving us currency. Again, that's all going to a little project, so don't worry.
We're working on something in the shadows.
There's something going on behind the scenes. But it'll be a little bit, but
well, we got those irons in the fire. Don't you worry.
We got some irons in the fire. With that all out of the way, Andrew Hussey took our children in the divorce and has given us these cheap imitations instead. That rat bastard. Hussey, give me back my kids.
Give me back my children.
How fucking dare you take my family members, Andrew?
It's like, no, you can have these guys though. They're kind of themed in the same color scheme, so.
Yeah. So going into Act 6 here.
The first thing I noticed, the Sweet Bro and Hella Jeff movie.
Yes, the Sweet Bro and Hella Jeff movie is real. We get this lovely animation that, if we're being honest, doesn't really matter. It's just kind of like a nice tone setter, you know?
It gives us like a nice refresh. It also kind of shows us that this world that we're in is has some differences that have been placed on it by the Scratch.
Yes. The reset universe here, similar to what the Trolls had to deal with their reset universe, has some major differences that will come up already, and also maybe we'll get a little insight into why. Spoiler alert: we will. It's bad.
It's bad.
No, I mean it's scary bad, not bad. Although some things
also
will be bad.
Scary.
No happiness left. Look at our new little kids. We got our new little guys.
He's still popping.
Lil Cal still... I'm not gonna lie, I didn't write any notes on this animation. Oh. This animation, I was just like, yep.
Yep, we're restarting.
It's Act 6. We're doing it.
I was just taking all this new information in, and Lil Cal caught my eye because that rat bastard, that felt
piece of shit,
puppety bastard, fucking...
Well, all of the new characters, as we will go into more, have like their kind of heirlooms. That if you remember, John, gave them all when they were small youngins, sent them back through the defense portals, and then the Scratch will have like essentially copied them. Mm. So now there are 2 Cals, along with like 2 bunny rabbits and 2 whatever, right?
That sounds bad.
Because a copy of them were sent, like for example, John or Bro gets Cal, right, and then is split. And then sent back to their respective times. So that means the Bro we got to see has Cal, and now Bro in Act 6 also has Cal.
That means when they meet up, there's going to be 2 Cals in the same
They're going to
universe.
fuse. They're going to Gurren Lagann, transform into Mega Cal.
Mega Cal.
It's going to be beautiful.
There's going to be the worst nightmare, Lord Latin, and it'll be horrifying.
Lord Latin? Fuck. Oh, God. So, we got our new kids.
They're some cute little...
Yeah, they're some cute little guys.
We meet first Jane Crocker.
Jane Crocker's like a fun little detective girl, and she likes Problem Sleuth 2. She's a big fan of Problem Sleuth 2. We know that this was Nana, right off the bat.
Yeah.
You actually called this early. I don't think it was on the show, but you did deduce through your brain powers, just as we were talking, that the Act 6 kids would be the Guardians, and you're completely right. This is very obviously Nana. Jake is very obviously Grandpa Harley. We don't technically know their names yet, but it's very obvious that the other 2 kids are Bro and Momland.
Yeah.
Very clearly. Oh, I didn't realize that Jane just said who. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I did, but what I mean by that is, when I first read through this, I was like, oh, because I always thought that was just, the result of her being prototyped. But no, the fact that Nana was fused with a clown really didn't do much at all, if we're being honest.
She was already prankster enough.
Yeah, she was very much into pranksters, and then, she and Bro will have a long conversation about, the nature of irony and how that compares to your good old-fashioned pranksterism, which is pretty good. And Jake is adventure guy.
He loves getting into fights and adventure.
Yeah, he speaks in a funny voice, and he goes, "Oh, toodly-o, I'm your chum. I'm going to beseech thee."
He has a British accent that I have to imagine no one gave him.
Yeah, because he lived by himself. He just has it.
He just picked it up.
I assume from movies, because he thought it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Though a lot of the movies on his wall, American films.
Yeah, American films. He also really likes blue women.
Yeah, that was from Grandpa Harley.
Yes.
He had that whole floor full of blue
Yeah,
women.
so we're kind of reintroducing these old character ideas from the Guardians of the original session, but reintroducing them in a new context.
Yeah.
This just makes it a little bit weirder.
The thing is, like, it makes more sense for me personally that Jake's into blue chicks based on like all the weird movies he's
exactly.
into. But how did Grandpa get into that?
Grandpa Harley's
way
just
forever
really
ago.
into blue people, man.
He's just like really into
He's
it.
like,
I guess.
do you think if Grandpa Harley was gay, he would have an orgy with Blue Man Group?
Have you seen Blue Man Group?
I have. I actually,
course.
they were my first concert experience. My dad
Really?
brought me to see Blue Man Group. And it was fucking awesome. It blew my mind. I don't remember anything they did in that entire concert. I just remember my small child brain being absolutely
filled with
like
awe.
decimated by the wonder of Blue Man Group, aka Grandpa Harley's 3 hot crushes.
those are the hottest blue men I could think of
Oh
off
my
top.
goodness, and they don't talk at all. Just like a Homestuck character.
Oh yeah. While we're meeting Jane, which also the fact that her name is Jane, I keep thinking Jade.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh wait, no, that's for sure not what I meant to say.
Jake doesn't help that either.
Yeah. It's like they were like, oh, they want them to have close names because both Grandpa and Grandma are going to be very tied, I imagine, in the story throughout. But it's really confusing when they already have Jade and John, who's like close enough. It's like,
ironically, even though this is all on the headcanon trans John stuff, which we'll get to. Spoiler alert, it's pretty nice. I like it.
Oh, okay.
I wish it was canon, but it's not, because that's not how storytelling works on Twitter. You have to put it in the thing. Saying it's canon on Twitter doesn't make it canon, but it would be cool if it was. Anyway, if you remove the name June from all context, June would be a nice name for Jane. It would sound very similar to John, and then it would, it would keep you from getting more characters confused with Jane. Yeah. It's not. Her name's Jane, so fuck you.
Oh, man. I'll just suffer. Just some little tidbits I picked up from Jane's introductory thing. She's called the heiress apparent. This was before we get to see her etch a ladder, which she's already very high in.
Yes. The big thing about this section is that, like, important things start happening to you when you're 13. Yeah. So you're checking up on these characters like 3 years 16, in. Like, they're doing shit already, I guess.
Okay.
It's weird because I always thought the Esha ladder was like abstract concepts related to Suburb, but I guess it isn't. Or we'll get to that. I have some things we're gonna talk about.
Some theories.
I have some Matt Pat Gamethan theories. That's his real name, by the way. Gamethan Theory.
Matthew Patricus Gamethan Theory.
Yeah, his middle name is like hyphenated, so it's like 2 of them. What were you saying? Sorry.
Oh, nothing. Just the heiress apparent. It sounded like a familiar title from the Etch a Ladders, and I couldn't remember if they
heir apparent is
there.
The
okay.
One of the, I think it's like the top rung on John's Esha ladder.
Okay, I thought so. All right, and oh yeah, I think either her or Jake complain about being terrible at botany because their veggies keep disappearing, and that calls back to how the same thing happened with Jade.
Yes. Jake, we'll talk about Jake's botany because it's a fun little explanation for it.
Mm-hmm.
Jade's problems obviously came from the fact that WV kept taking her fucking pumpkins.
Yeah.
But Jake's is just like a quick little one-off thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically he made a time loop. He's transmaterializing pumpkins from in the future of his. So now his pumpkins are disappearing now from when he in the past transmaterialized them to start his pumpkin patch. Okay. It doesn't matter. It's just like a fun little thing. I liked it.
All these there are a lot of callbacks to the rest of the comic, which makes sense because this is like essentially like a fresh restart.
Exactly. Yeah. It's kind of like we're doing it again. That's a big part of this.
A small issue I have with it though is it feels as though they happen so abundantly here that it almost takes away from any characterization I'm getting from these new kids.
We're gonna talk about that, but at the end of this episode, we changed the page numbers. This episode is going to just be about Act 6, Act 1. We're going to do Intermission 1 and Act 6, Act 2 next week, but we figured there's enough going on just in terms of like the meta of starting Act 6 that we're gonna... I know last week we said we're gonna read through Intermission 1, but we're not gonna do that. We're gonna do that at the beginning of next episode. So at the end of this episode, I want to just kind of, really look at this whole reading section and talk about these new characters. Because unlike Act 1 and original Homestuck, we do have a decent amount of dialogue from all 4 of these new characters.
Yeah, they do.
Whereas Act 1 originally had a lot of John, a lot of Rose, a little bit of Dave, and one conversation of Jade.
Literally nothing of theirs. Oh,
character select. Look at all this fucking narrative agency.
You have so much control.
It's incredible. I can't believe Hussey put me in the driver's seat. I love it. I want to shake his Hussey and orange hand. Thank you so much. Do you want to do Jane or Jake first? Spoiler alert, you can't pick. We're doing Jane. Did you read Jane first?
Yeah.
I did too, yeah. In general, I think this is the way it worked. Those character selections... Mm-hmm. When those pages showed up, not all of the pages that they are relating to were written yet. Mm-hmm. So, like, for example, that character selection would have come up, and then the only option that worked would have been Jane, right? Mm-hmm. And then Jane's pages got made, and then Jake's pages got made. I think. I could be wrong. Corey will tell me if I am.
Yeah. we have beautiful, dedicated fans that'll help us out.
So, but I believe that's the case. So, in general... It's probably just a good idea to read those character select screens, like left to right.
Okay.
Just, it just makes sense. So we're going to treat that very linear, which kind of makes sense because the joke of them is that they're barely any choice at all. They don't even really count, which is fucking hilarious. Mm-hmm. It's like, look at how much you're influencing the story right now.
Control over the story. And by that, I mean, you can pick like 1 of 2 pages.
It's incredible. So, Jane. She's stuck in her house. What dare I say it? Perhaps abode stuck. Yeah, she can't leave the house.
What about dwelling placed?
Whoa!
Whoa!
Dwelling trapped. She's stuck in her house. She can't fucking leave. She's grounded. We will find out why she's grounded later. And she's like, damn, I can't wait to play Spurb. It's gonna be so cool.
It's gonna be the best thing ever.
It helps that it's
world is
made by Crocker Corp.
Yeah.
Oh.
Who recently rebranded.
Yes. Well, we're gonna get to them. They go on a rebranding tirade later on. It's incredible. Ron Swanson is stated to be the perfect man. Listen, I need you to understand something. Mm-hmm. So originally, like, John has all of these like old comedians and shit on his wall or whatever, right? And it's like pretty funny, but they're definitely like before my time, right? Yeah. When I was in like middle school and high school, I watched Parks and Recreation. So seeing Ron Swanson felt like a punch to the fucking gut. Whoa. What the fuck? What are you doing here? Get out of here, Ron. Ron, please. I need you to make like a libertarian and become very small. There you go.
Oh, man.
See, that was a libertarianism joke because Ron Swanson is a libertarian. I fucking did it. Dadbert's back!
Yeah, our boy Dadbert's back, yes! Seemingly unchanged.
I guess she should be Dadker, but I'm not going to call him that. I'm going to call him Dadbert.
Oh, man, yeah.
Yeah. That seems way lamer.
Dadker.
Dadker. Oh, God, we have more bunnies to add to the time loop.
Yes, man. There's 2 already here.
Another round of bunnies. But
the one that we end up seeing with John on Prospect is in Jake's house right now.
Yes. So the bunny time loop is that the version of the bunny that's given to Jade, right? Jade has that bunny. We assumed that Jade got essentially somehow managed to send that bunny across universes to Jake, and then he did shit to it and sent it back. Not so. Because the items all got like copied along with the kids, then that means that essentially there were 2 versions of that bunny that both Jades had. Yeah. And so our Jade just has that bunny normally, but that's not the one
that Jake has.
Yes, Jake has one.
Old lady Jade's bunny.
Yes, and then he uses is going to use the transmaterializer, fucking Christ, to send it back to our universe. So that's the bunny situation. But they also have their own fucking set of bunny rabbits that isn't really that important, if I'm being honest. It's, it's kind of important, as we will see later with little Sebastian.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering if Jake English has any relationship to the Lord and Savior.
Oh, we'll talk to that. We'll talk about that. Don't worry. We'll talk about that.
He, seems like it. Jade gives him all that weird... He had the cloak of time or whatever.
We'll talk about it, man. Speaking of which, Jane has to talk to our good pal Jake English. What a cool guy he is.
He loves adventure.
Jake is attempting to reach Strider. We can safely assume that this is the post-scratch equivalent of Bro.
Yeah.
Whatever their name ends up being. What is his autoresponder? Oh boy, will we have some time with autoresponder.
Oh man.
Stay tuned for autoresponder.
Autoresponder, I actually enjoy that character a lot, actually.
Fucking love autoresponder. We'll talk about it. Jake needs to contact him to fulfill his side of the bunny loop for some reason. And Jane also is like, oh my god, we're having visions of the video game? Whoa. Jane is the equivalent of Jade and Kanaya, where Jane has woken up early on.
Okay.
Which is interesting because Jane is not spacebound.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas our previous characters have been that get to wake up early.
I think someone called her a life player.
Yes, she is a life player. She's the Maid of Life, I think.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no. Everyone loves a healer.
Yeah.
But, I'm so confused on who, I think I'm getting disjointed. What's your next thing here? I'm getting disjointed canonically here.
Oh, well, the last thing I want to say on that is that both of our previous characters who woke up early on Prospect were only given the ability to do so by a first guardian.
Yeah.
So Jane has to be in contact with some type of first guardian.
Somewhere.
We haven't seen him yet, but there's somewhere. Right?
Mm-hmm. They must be.
Ooh, I don't know. All right, now the rebranding tirade happens. It's a fork.
It's a fork now.
It's a fork now.
Or I guess a trike.
Does that fork look familiar to you?
It does. It looks painfully familiar. It looks
what does it look like?
Just like the Empress's logo and her ship. Which, if you're telling me that Betty Crocker is the Empress, bro, I'm gonna shit a brick.
Yes.
Damn it.
And you can confirm that by, remember Nana's conversation to Fedora Freak, and she says that Betty Crocker is not human. So you are 100% correct. The time loop here is that somehow after being given into Lord English's service by the handmaiden, then she has to to some degree, she has to find some way to get to the new universe now and do this shit.
I don't even...
Which means that whatever Crocker Corp is doing right now is specifically for the benefit of Lord English.
Yeah, this is all part of his plan. Still. Man, my brack is shat, dude. I don't...
Already, fucking like 20 minutes in. So, but it's pretty cool. She can switch her fork from a spoon to a fork, and that's pretty cool.
That's handy.
And she has the recipe modus with it, where she can figure out what things to alchemize to make other things.
It seems to be a pretty large modus, which is handy. But also you can see the recipes. But I don't know. I expected it to be cooler.
Yeah, the moduses here. I'm just gonna let you know the modi for these characters are not great. Mm-hmm. They're just not as fun.
The puzzle modi?
I kind of like the puzzle modus, actually.
That one's gotta have a big reveal later.
Well, the puzzle modus is just it's literally the Resident Evil 4 inventory, which I think is really funny for Jake. Yeah. I like that quite a bit. But Momland's modus isn't that great. I actually don't remember what Bro's modus is. But no, Jane's is pretty lame. So she compared, because the whole point of your modus should be that it causes you great pain. It should be annoying to have to deal with. even when we stopped like having like modus shenanigans be a part of the story,
Mm-hmm.
whenever they bothered to show us one, right? Like Carcat's modus was like you pick something up and now you have to become like a fucking grade A level programmer to be able to get it out, right?
Yeah.
And Gamzee's modus is just fucking batshit insanity. It's like, can you uncaptcha something? I have no idea.
No idea.
I hope so, right? It's shit like that. So yeah, recipe modus is like the array modus, but just infinitely better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like a tacit admission of like we're not doing anything else with this ever again, which is weird because this is supposed to be Act 1.
Yeah.
Like what made these characters so endearing is that we got to see them fumble around in their surroundings with these like incredibly esoteric game mechanics, and we just don't get to see that anymore. Yeah, which sucks.
We were learning as they learned, almost. It was
exactly.
Like, oh, what?
And I understand that that's an effect that you can only have once per se, but in terms of like us learning along with the characters. But like, I already know all of this. Reading Act 1 was still charming as shit. Yeah. Like, watching John fumble around with all of these things at his house, trying to deal with all this dumb bullshit, was hilarious and great, and it immediately endears you to the character. Yeah. And, like, when John finally, like, does something that is, like, effortless with his modus, he's like, you're glad not everything has to be a federal fucking issue. That is, like, a triumph. You're like, yeah, he's fucking figuring out his inventory. It's cool as hell.
He's putting it together.
And we are just skipping over that. Despite the fact that, like, that was a major part of Act 1. We are, for all intents and purposes, doing Act 1 again. Yeah. Okay. Jane answer.
Oh, actually, right before that.
Oh, never mind.
This is just a real quick joke. They do. Jane thinks about her and her father and how much, like, I think they look alike was the thing. And it was like, oh yeah, if you were to look at that pairing, you'd be like, oh yeah, there's a father and his daughter that he made biologically through normal means.
But he did not. Dadbird is just a universal constant, which I love. Like Troll Will Smith.
Yeah, like
Troll Will Smith. It's exactly like Troll Will Smith.
He just kind of exists. The concept is always there. It just needs a vessel.
All right. Jane answer. New troll.
Oh, yeah. New troll.
We got a new troll. It's pretty fun. Uranian Umbra. It is immediately clear that this troll knows some shit.
Yeah, no. They see the bigger picture.
Understands the entire context of the story thus far. I have this quote. It is the day whereafter the legendary octet of mutual progenitority. That's a fucked up word. Fuck you, Uranian Umbra. I know your name, but fuck you for making me read that. Will come together and heal a great breach in paradox space. A day delivered through 80 billion years and 4 distinct universal instances worth of unfathomable turbulence. And while the emerald eye of this storm is fixed in the abyss forever, today you are poised to escape its scowl once and for all. So, like, this troll is very aware of the fact that, like, this is the 4th universe and the one where everything will, like, come to a head in.
Yeah, like, she mentions the legends themselves.
Yeah.
Which I was thinking, legend tier? She, references them by their class spec and is like, oh yeah, the hero should come and you're supposed to bring them about.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. And then she's like, hey, Jane, can I help you out at all? And Jane's like, no, I'm pretty good. And they just kind of have a little talk. They're just kind of nice. And Jane says, like, oh, I've woken up early on Prospect, and something happened in my dream that's fucked, but I don't want to talk about it yet.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, what's going on there? What's going on? Ooh. Hussey's waving his hands in front of me. What does it all mean? And I'm like, I don't know, man. I sure hope I find out.
It seems like they're upset about it.
John Egbert alert. There he is. Did you see him?
John Egbert?
John Egbert is here.
What are you talking about?
John Egbert's picture is on the chest. I love you, John. You're such a cool guy.
It's old man Grandpa John.
It's Grandpa John, and I love that idea. I'm just imagining, like, John as, like, an old grandpa, like, doing dumb pranks on, like, his grandchildren and, like, telling the stories of, when I was on the comedian days, I dressed up like Harry Anderson. And the kids are like, who's Harry Anderson? He's like, the wisest man on earth, as told in Harry Anderson's book, Wise Guy. That's what John sounds like. Oh, she has an abridged Colonel Sassacres.
Yeah.
That quote, got rid of the slurs.
It was a little too offensive. They need a more PC version.
Yeah, we need to redo. There's like a new translation. Thank fuck. Okay, this is what we were talking about earlier. I just have written down, and I quote, Yo, her modus is busted. That's what I have written down.
It's like, oh man, wow.
I have a tirade I want to go on for the grist widget. So if you have anything before that.
Well, the grist widget? No, you should go ahead.
No, all right. So the grist widget is an item that converts items into grist for a small $1 fee. Grists, of course, are completely pointless outside of the context of Spurb.
Yeah.
So, let's put together these elements that we have here, all right?
Mm-hmm.
We know that Betty Crocker is the servant of Lord English, right? The Condess is the Empress, comes back after the Vast Glove. The Handmaiden recruits her to be Lord English's servant for immortality.
Mm-hmm.
She's now Betty Crocker on Earth, this Earth, somehow. Somehow she jumped universes or whatever, and now she's here.
Her way into it.
She's here and running Crocker Corp.
Mm-hmm.
And the Jane is the heiress. I also like how she's kind of set it up in a very similar way to Home, where she had an heiress at home, right? And now Jane kind of functions as Pfeffery to Betty Crocker, which is interesting. But she is purposely creating products that have to do with Spurb way before they happen, and the grist widget is one of them, but then also stuff like the recipe modus, which tells you how to alchemize shit. Alchemizing isn't a thing outside of Spurb. It's a Spurb thing. So we have Betty Crocker preparing these people for Spurb in a similar way that Doc Scratch did with Alternia.
Yeah.
Just on a smaller scale, I suppose. So that's interesting. It really is just Lord English has his fucking eye on whoever these 4 kids are. Whatever they are going to do is going to continue to be important for Lord English's time loop. Somehow.
Something I'll for sure keep an eye on. I don't know to what ends. I'm not sure how this is supposed to bring about the destruction of the universe. It seems like giving them more things to help them in the game is only going to be a positive, but honestly trying to understand Doc Scratch's plan is...
Well, it's important to note that Doc Scratch is now dead. Whatever is happening now is the result of Lord English in person.
Okay.
But Doc Scratch has died. He became Lord English.
Yeah.
He was hosting Lord English. Lord English has now replaced him.
Yeah, and now he's here. So
and he's here. He was already here, but now he's double here. He's here times 2 combo.
Oh no. Jane and Momland. Alright.
I love Momland a lot.
I think she's a pretty fun character. I do think that the implications of her, she's really fun, and it's really silly that she's so drunk that she's just mistyping.
Well, she's literally an alcoholic at age 16.
But yeah, she's also a serious alcoholic at 16,
which I guess checks out. We saw Momland drinking a lot in the original, so no, that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it holds up. I just I like the character. I know that alcoholism at that age is bad for the human body.
I will ease your mind. They do get into that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not. This will not remain oh so quirky. Look at me, I'm an alcoholic.
I'm a
minor
alcoholic.
No, they will get into this to some degree. I do like Momland quite a bit. We'll talk about this again at the end when we go through all the characters. But I do think that the characters we don't get to quote unquote play as in this section really outshine the ones that we do.
I agree. I really don't feel like I know too much about Jane walking away from this, other than the fact that she likes baking.
Yeah, again, we're gonna get through all of that at the end, but yeah, I like Jane. Jane's nice. I like Jane. No. I like Jake. They're
I think they're fun characters.
Yeah.
I just wish I wish there was more to them. I guess I wish they would they don't feel like they
I don't know
coming
if I can
through.
hear that. There's some fucking truck out there. Beep beep. We fucking keep on keeping on. You guys have to deal with that. Get fucked. Yeah, so basically this conversation is Momland is very aware also of the situation with the Condess.
Yeah.
She knows.
She's like, no, the Batter Witch is real.
She's an alien and evil.
Problem.
And Jane's like, why?
You're silly.
No way. You're crazy.
Or, what was it? As Jane says, she's schnocker bottom drunk.
Also, we find out why Jane is grounded. She's been grounded not through any fault of her own, because there have been multiple assassination attempts on her life. Which is oh my god, holy shit. Imagine being 16 and be like, yeah, that guy wants to fucking kill you.
Yeah, no, people have tried to shoot at me regularly for the past week.
It's like, oh my goodness. But that's all fine. The mail is here. Time to go get the mail.
Time to get
the
mail.
Doodle. The arm doodle. The swingy flappy
the
doodle.
thingy,
It's up.
The dingle.
We gotta go get it. So she gotta put on her incredible disguise. The great Paroi, in this house, such an honor. I will set the kettle to boil straight away. Who would have guessed that this home would be so heavily trafficked by famous French detectives at this time of day? Oh my, the good Paroi appears to be clucking little pleasantries in his adorable French accent through the high-pitched voice of an enthusiastic teen girl. I surely don't have the heart to ground this upstanding, dapper gentleman, no matter how many dastardly attempts are made on her life. That's it. That's all the Jane we get for now. No more Jane. Do you have anything else you want to say about Jane real quick before we move over to Jake?
Nah. Let's move on over to Jake. He seems
Time
more
to move
fun.
on over to Jake. He is more fun. I do like him more than Jane. Jake follows in Jade's footsteps of being strapped all the time.
Yes, no.
He has
twin 9
guns.
Berettas.
What was the joke he said before? That like her island was an open carry state?
Yeah.
Those laws still apply.
That didn't change. The scratch didn't reset that.
No, listen, those gun lobbyists, they got that shit worked out. They got that shit on lockdown across universes. We are good.
I was shocked at first when I noticed that Jake's bed sheets have like lucises on them, or luci.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, how the fuck would he know what these are, or anyone here? I assumed his grandma made them, but then they were just some on his island, and they're just kind of running rampant.
Like, the ecosystem of his island is troll luci.
Yeah.
Which is weird. Why? What's going on there?
I just can't imagine what would bring that species to this universe when they just reset the universe.
I'd be wild if... I wonder how that could have happened. That's crazy. Haha. Anyway, moving on.
That is so weird.
Jake, as previously stated, really wants to fuck blue women. Specifically Neytiri from James Cameron Avatar.
Yeah.
He really... Is that how you pronounce her name?
I think it's Neytiri.
Neytiri? Oh, I actually have it written down as that. But I don't know why. I got rid of an I. I deleted an I in my mind. I have it written down right.
Yeah, but in your head it was just like...
Neytiri from... Yeah, aren't they making a new James Cameron Avatar movie? Isn't there another one coming out?
I heard whispers about it, but I don't know if anything ever came of it.
James Cameron, if you're listening to this, please let us know what's going on with the new Avatar movie.
Our 8th patron on Patreon.
James Cameron.
Could you make GrubCast the movie?
Oh my god. Exclusively in IMAX theaters. It's going to be incredible. The IMAX GrubCast experience. Nothing will be any different. It will still be a podcast with a static image.
I love that, actually.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
But also...
GrubCast, the feature film.
We find out that Jake also has a love for blue women and sassy spider-themed gals.
Yes. That's wild and hyper-specific. I wonder if that will be relevant later.
I just can't imagine who wouldn't love sassy spider-themed gals.
I personally am a big fan of Vriska. I mean, sassy spider-themed gals. So, no, none in particular. Just like as a generic trope.
Just like, yeah, that's my favorite character type right there. Real sassy themed spider.
He does not give any examples of any movies that he may have accumulated this from. But there you go. That's a character trait now.
I think his comic has like Spider Girl on it.
Oh, he does have Spider Girl. Never mind. You're correct. He does like Spider Girl. Do you think Jake likes Into the Spider-Verse?
Huh.
He probably does. I like Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, for sure, actually.
Great fucking movie.
He's probably just like, oh man.
Look at all these spider-themed individuals. All we need to do is, all he wants is if Spider Noir was like blue instead of black.
Oh, and it's Nick Cage.
Yo! Oh my god! Yes!
He would lose his mind.
Holy shit! That'd be literally the best pairing for Jake. It's incredible.
Spider-Man, Spider Noir.
Absolutely incredible.
But our boy needs uranium.
He needs it bad. He is down bad for some uranium.
Down horrendous. Straight treacherous.
He wishes that someone was handing out uranium, as he's been suffering from years of bitter uranium famine.
But he can't really find him, and he can't really find any. He tried looking through his shit, and now he's gonna hit up fucking Uranium Umbra.
Yes, real quick. Yeah, he has the RE4 inventory. The reason why he doesn't have any uranium is because the transmaterializer has been using it to send shit across dimensions.
Probably takes a lot of uranium.
It probably eats up a lot of your uranium. I think he literally says like, man, that would be a really inefficient power source for a time machine. It would be weird. I guess it would make sense if it needed to do something more than that, but like clearly it's only sending things through time and nothing else. So the fact that it needs uranium is weird. So it's like, oh, okay, it needs the uranium to send shit across dimensions, which we saw with Jack in Cascade. He needs the uranium to send him across to the troll session.
When he ripped it out of the mayor.
So that's pretty cool. Fun little. I like that. That's pretty cool. I like it.
Radioactivity has always been about like space themed stuff since the beginning of this, which is really nice consistency. I appreciate it.
You are correct though. And then Jake goes to talk to our new troll pal, Uranian Umbra.
But yeah, based on the color of their text, it makes me think that this is ancestor Karkat, but I thought the signless was a dude, and this seems very like darling and like sweetie. Like this seems very, maybe it's just like a really like
I'll just tell you, yes, this is a girl.
Okay.
Maybe I'm just gonna oh no, guy, crazy spoiler. Like, no, this is a girl.
This doesn't seem like Karkat's ancestor from what I know of them, but I don't know how scratches work.
No.
It's not Karkat?
This is a new troll.
Oh, it's a new troll.
Yeah, this is a brand new troll. Brand new troll. I understand why you would think that though, with like the gray and everything. Yeah. Don't worry. I feel you.
I'm thinking.
I'm vibing with you.
And then they talk about summoning the heroes from the Lawn Ring. Kind of how like Doc Scratch summoned English.
Yeah. It's essentially just another, because you could technically read either of these first, there's essentially just more evidence that whoever this troll is, they understand like great context of the universe.
They have looked into the meta.
She has to break it down a lot more obviously for Jake than Jane, because Jake's just kind of an idiot. Yeah. If we're being honest, he's he's not the sharpest knife in the drawer.
But it's his British colloquialisms that make him seem smarter.
Exactly. He goes, chum, biscuits and tea.
Grabs another kerchief.
That's what Jake sounds like, probably.
Harumfinder.
Also, apparently, this troll is responsible for how Liv Tyler got the weapons that would be given to the other kids.
Yeah.
She says, like, I will give you, in the future, the ability to make these to then send it back into the past, which is your immediate future, where you can then get them. And he's like, okay, sick. I guess it's taken care of.
Dope.
Which is fun. I like that as a kind of distinction between him and Jane, where Jane's like very skeptical, like, what are you talking about? There's no aliens. And Jake's just like, time travel, got it.
Yeah, cool.
I understand. You're an alien, cool.
Got it.
Sick. Okay. Jake takes out his computers, and we need to talk about what you were talking about earlier. We need to address the English situation. All right, we need to make a YouTuber apology video.
His eyes do the thing.
Yeah. Okay. Motherfucker has Lord English's head on his shirt. That's what his shirt is Lord English's head. He had the skull top computer is Lord English's head. He has the cloak. He has the two different shoes, one that's normal and one that's like the gold thing, the belt. Motherfucker, what is going on?
What is happening?
What is happening?
Is he Lord English? Are they going to turn him into the next one?
His name is Jake English.
His name is Jake English. If he became a lord, he'd just be Lord English.
Why?
I am also painfully curious about it. If I had to guess, some weird ectobiological stuff.
You think that Jake is ectobiologically related to Lord English? Fucking awesome.
Weirder things have happened.
Yeah, objectively, yes. Insane Clown Posse caused so many character deaths.
Like,
fucking insane.
Oh, at this point, I'll believe anything. You're telling me Jake's actually Andrew Hussey in disguise? Bullshit.
Jake English is Andrew Hussey, is Jade Harley, is Doc Scratch. We did it.
Is Fat Vriska.
Oh my god, yes! We found Fat Vriska. It's finally real.
That's why he could never marry, because he'd be marrying himself.
Oh my goodness.
The next thing, I think this is where Jake and Bro start hitting each other up.
Yes.
And Jake has to deal with Bro's autoresponder.
Yes. Like the reveal here is so good. They have a really a long conversation where we just assume
okay,
we're meeting bro.
Yeah.
And then the fucking reveal of the fact that he's been talking to his sunglasses the whole time is so fucking good. I also have this written down because bro reminds me of Rose a lot in the way that both they and their autoresponder talk, which makes sense because the autoresponder is just a clone of him.
Mm-hmm.
Just about the only way I could salvage endearment from this perilous slope of horseshit would be to discover, really fucking soon, mind you, it was a preamble to some floundering invitation for me to rush to your vicinity as nakedly as possible. But since we've already shot that wad's eventuality on so many dry runs of flustered ambivalence that were as hilarious as they were one-sided, that leaves only one hope for this message to avoid spiraling towards qualification as a critical fucking defect on the hull of the Mach 10 rocket that is my precious spare time. And that hope lies in the extent to which you are practicing artful insincerity. Now's your opportunity to pretend that's what you were gunning for. I suggest you take it. Oh my god. He's like if Rose and Dave were fused into one being.
No, absolutely.
It's fucking incredible.
It's the same over the top euphemisms and throws into metaphor that Dave gives us with this same vitriol and almost pointed attack that comes from Rose.
It's great. I love him. He's awesome. We'll talk about it again at the end, but he is the best out of these four by far. He's really good.
I'm not at all surprised.
He's great. I love him.
I loved Bro before when he was an ancestor. So
he's fucking sick.
Now I get to talk to him.
Yeah, my man Bro has some uranium, and then Jake's like, "Cool, can I have it?" And Bro said, "Fucking no!
How dare you?
Absolutely not! You have to fight for that shit." You need to fight. And Jake says, "Oh, no.
Oh, not that." He's like, "I thought you loved adventure. Take it out of my death robot."
On the subject of autoresponder as well, Jake has this to comment on it. There's barely any difference between them anyway. The responder just uses a few more generic response templates, and even those who suspect the AI is savvy enough to use on purpose for the sake of irony, or to get a rise out of you or whatever, the silicon bastard knows damn well what it's doing. It's they are literally the same person. Autoresponder is a clone of Bro's brain.
Yeah, it's a scan of his brain, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's a scan of his brain, yeah. They, autoresponder reminds me of, Dave Sprite in the way in their relationship between Bro and the real one.
Yeah, you're right. I never thought about comparing those, but you're totally correct. Yeah,
it's kind of no, but this one understands he's not the real one, but he's like, bro, I'm essentially the same.
Yeah,
there's no effective difference here in this conversation.
The only difference is that one is completely artificially created.
Mm-hmm.
It is. I never even thought about that parallel. You're totally right. Real quick, we get a conversation with Jane that we looked at before.
Yeah,
that's the same one. And then okay.
Oh, you're about to talk about wait, where were you about to go? I'm sorry.
Well, autoresponder talks to him again.
What do you have for that? I don't really have
autoresponder talks to him again and explains what the deal is with the uranium, how he has to get it.
Oh yeah.
He has some fucking great lines. Autoresponder has some really great lines. One of my favorites that I wrote down as well was it seems there is a 76.1039578.4% chance you are pussying out on me. Are you pussying out on me, Jake? It's fucking hilarious. But basically, this is just, all right, Strider built you a robot to wrestle with. You're a little pansy, can't beat the robot. You gotta beat the robot.
You got to
get some uranium. You have to.
Also, I'm turning off novice mode.
I'm turning off easy mode. You better learn to fight really well real quick.
Also, an interesting thing I noticed when Jake is testing the automated responder to see if it's really him. He starts to ask it just very blunt, very simple questions. I can't remember what he phrased. It's
basically tell me about the autoresponder.
Yeah, tell me about the autoresponder. And he goes on this very scripted, almost a official definition of what it is.
Yeah.
And that's a very common thing for AI. When they pick up information, they're kind of just force fed stuff through the internet. So if you were to talk to them, it would seem natural until you ask them just a random question oh, what's the capital of Minnesota? And they'll give you a very textbook definition just because of their programming. They're I know everything about that here.
I like autoresponder quite a lot. He's super fun.
I thought that was a cute little of a AI. He also, the autoresponder also calls Jake a callous corporeal carbon 8.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. He totally does. Oh man. I better. Anyway, Jake's got to go kill that robot. I hope he really enjoys the thrill of the hunt there.
He grabs his 2 Berettas and he goes on out.
Meanwhile, Jane's got to get that mail. Time to get that mail. Unfortunately, the fridge is in front of the door. Oh boy! Remember when we were in this situation with the Cruxtruder or whatever?
Yeah, it's vaguely familiar.
It fits so conveniently in that door-shaped nudge or nook or whatever.
Yeah,
there it is.
Did Dad move it there?
He has to have,
right? Like,
because he has the note underneath it.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
Dad
he
is
has to.
buff.
He has to have put it there. I mean, Dadbert, like,
I know we saw it before,
we've
but
seen
like,
Dadbert be buff as shit.
God.
Like, he's jacked.
Every time I see it, it's just like, fuck. It's like,
oh, it's beautiful.
If my dad picked up a fridge,
it's so cool.
I would shit my pants. I'd shit another brick.
Yeah.
Where does Jane talk about the dream? Was that with uranium?
Jane's going to talk about the dream in the future.
Okay.
More in depth, I assume is what you're talking about.
She covers it lightly, and we get like a scene of it, of like it was like a Jake like on a bed.
No, that's later. That's later.
Okay.
That's later. Oh my god, look at you. Why are you doing this? Basically, fridge blocking the door, windows are locked, you cannot get outside. Go. Be stuck in home. You foolish creature.
Be home stuck.
John got Grandpa Harley. John got taxidermied. There he is.
He's just up there.
Oh my god.
With his giant book.
Oh my god, and his sassacres is Arjon's sassacres.
Yeah,
again, it would have been split.
It's
cool. So then she's all like, what's going on with me writing a note? What's going on here? Although I think she tries to use that as like proof that the Condis isn't real.
Yeah.
She's like, see, look, I know who started the company, like right here, and she was a nice person. She can't be an alien. What are you talking about?
And she's like, that's actually in your handwriting. Though.
Whoa.
Also, as Jane is looking at our old Grandpa John now taxidermied up, and she's gonna take his Colonel Saskers to check the note, she remembers,
You got it.
I'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta cheer him on in the comments below.
E.T. But, yeah, as she's yelling at him, she starts to get like confrontational with him in the same way that Jade did.
Yeah,
when she
it was
with Grandpa.
nice.
And she's like, "No, I'll take the abridged version. I don't need that one. It's too
big. It has
big.
plenty of jokes, and they are plenty funny.
They're plenty funny,
and there's no racial slurs in mine."
That was just a little cute callback, and I thought it was funny.
I really liked it. She starts talking about Jake here. She starts talking to Jake. This is where she goes more in depth about the dream. Being hey, I woke up on Prospect and it was cool, but everyone was sad. And I was like, what's going on? And Jake is dead?
Something I loved was Jake's just so old timey. When she tells him she has a wild dream about him, he's like, "Oh, glasses fog up." Grabs handkerchief.
Oh my god! The fucking role play is off the charts. With these people.
He role plays constantly.
But yeah, how the fuck is his dream self dead when they haven't even started the game yet?
He hasn't even woken up in there.
Shit's fucked. What's going on? What's going on there? So they're setting up some stuff here.
Also, some terrible news. Jake's a page.
Jake's a page. That's unfortunate. We don't have a great track record with them so far.
I was like, oof, man, you may never get your power up.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. The last one got stabbed by a lance and then dropped off a cliff.
He got cut off right before he was about to have that epiphany.
So, I don't know. Ooh, fingers crossed for Jake here. Fingers crossed for our lad.
And will you open up with talking about you dying? I do not have high hopes.
Jake has a conversation with Momland. There's not much in this one.
Oh yeah, nah. She just talks about how hot he is.
They're just kind of like, Jane's like, Momland's like, I don't want to play the game since the bad guy knows about it.
Yeah.
Also, Jane likes you. Oops. And then Jake's like, oh no.
Ooh.
We'll talk about that later.
Fuck. What's her name? Momland. She says in this conversation that I get that like I can't be with you or whatever because my friend likes you and whatever the agreement, I can't have it for anybody. And while she's going through that, she mentions being pale friends with him, And I just thought that was a weird like troll thing to bring
Yeah,
up.
why does she know about like these troll terms?
Why are there so many troll things on this planet?
Yeah, like also like she knows about the Condes. So like what has led to her to like come into like understanding of like these troll things?
Yeah.
What the fuck's going on?
Because they explain why like she would have any idea for the conspiracy theory of Betty Crocker, with Jane saying it's an urban legend that the Batter Witch is even a thing. But no, it's like she knows very much about these very troll specific things that are also flooding their planet for some reason.
I'm glad you're catching on to that, because that's important. That's important. No, you're catching on. So yeah, it's more, we're adding to the mystery of Momland. Also, she's like a hacker, I guess. She can like hack into the she Matrix hacks into the mainframe and steals the video game.
She hacks super hard, but apparently it was a cake wake.
Yeah, it was a cake wake.
When that cake died, we were all there for it at his wake.
Jake finds one of the, a troll Lussus on his planet, as we talked about. Like the
crab mom.
I've written down Act 6 is showing its hand a bit too much. What I mean by that is that if this were Act 1, this would be a Flash animation.
Oh, yeah.
It would have some cool original music, and there'd be some fun animation, and there'd be cool puns, and it would be really fun.
But instead,
and there's just nothing.
Yeah.
And it's lampshading that. It's aware of that, but like it's just think about the fact that like we've had no flash pages this whole time.
Yeah.
Outside of the first one that didn't even really say much. It's just been
like
nothing.
A setting opening,
This is fine for like Acts 4 and 5, and like we're getting into the thick of the story, right? But like the whole point of an Act 1 is that it's showing you these characters with all these fun little things. Like, we get to look at John's bookshelf and all that type of stuff. We get to walk around his house, and it gives his house like such a sense of like place, right? Like I feel like I understand the layout of John's house. I know what he's doing at any given moment. When he's somewhere, I understand where he is in relation to anything else. That's because of these cool Flash animations that just aren't present here. Mm-hmm. I think it would have been cool to see Hussey go back to like a previous style of creation to like emulate the style of Act 1 again. I think that would have been cool.
I think that would have been nice, but I believe there's also a worry of, after having just dropped literally everything main plot related to jump to this new world, there's also a bit of like a sense of urgency, I would think, from the writer perspective, to get things back to that narrative.
We'll talk about that near the end, but I disagree.
Okay.
I'll bring that back up later on. But yeah, that's like, this would have just been a Flash page. This would have been a fun little Strife page.
And it would have been cool.
Yeah, it would have had some cool music, and you could click on little things, and they would do stuff, and they would make little fun jokes, and it would have been fun. But instead, we get this. And like Andrew Hussey like reaches out of the screen, like taunts you, like fucking go listen to the Bandcamp music and imagine it. You piece of shit,
and just put it together in your head.
It's like, all right,
all right then, okay.
Also, Brobot is right there.
Yeah, man, Brobot is waiting.
He is right there. Oh God,
he is posted up.
All right, Jane's got to get out. Jane's like, how do I fucking get out of here? We're near the end of this whole thing as well. Mm-hmm. So she's like, shit. I gotta call on my buddy's little creation, this fun little robot guy, little Sebastian.
Hit the button. Sebastian.
I fucking love little Sebastian. He is adorable.
Oh yeah,
he's so good. Also awesome and badass. He's got a fucking little katana and his own little sunglasses.
Got the glasses, yeah.
Oh, he's awesome. I love him.
That's a cute little bunny bot.
And then Strider's like, yo, why'd you call my son? She's like, shit, all right, I guess we're talking now.
The tone there actually, to me, gives more of a, like, a romantic almost... Because I thought it was weird how romantic this party seems together.
We will talk about that near the end as well. Like,
I'm not, like, opposed to it at the moment, just that it seems much more heavy-handed than in the previous iteration. The first act, like... I had a bit of a fan theory. I was like, oh, well, Jade's being really nice to John. Maybe she likes him. But with this, it's like, no, they are like very open about.
Yeah, it's
I
very
think you're
overt.
Super hot.
Like Jane is into Jake, right? Roxy, I just said her name. Oh no, my bad. It's fine. You're gonna figure it out next time anyway. Momland is really into Jake also, and
but
maybe into Strider as well. Like they're very overt about it.
Yeah.
This one is ironically, I don't think that's the case with this conversation.
Okay, I could see it also being like a brotherly love,
I don't get those vibes from this conversation at all. But I think you're right in general.
He used I think it was like a pet name, like some sort of vernacular choice that was like darling or like honey, like are you okay? Like why'd you hit my button up?
I have no idea.
But yeah, just something that
I think the overall conversation though doesn't lean in that direction at all.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Bro as he's being depicted because he's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
For lack of a better phrase, he is on top of shit.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that he is like easily the most esoteric of this group of kids, he's got the most like weird shit going on.
Yeah.
He still has like a very detailed understanding of all of the pieces at play here. He's taking a very direct guidance role of these other characters in a way that we have not seen much in this story. Like it reminds me a bit of Rose, but Rose was very isolated in that regard.
Yeah.
Rose is like, I'm going to do serious shit now, and you guys can fuck around doing whatever, but I'm gonna figure this out, right? Whereas Bro seems to be taking the a very hands-on approach with like Jane and Jake, like literally trying to like push them to be more like each other because he feels like they cover each other's aspects well, and like this will be more helpful for them. And in a similar way, like despite how goofy the concept of autoresponder is, and he's aware of this, and that's why he made him, he's also very aware of like the serious consequences of his decision to do that, and takes a very like paternal role with autoresponder. Like, I need to give autoresponder like space to be himself,
his own person. I have that written down under ethical clone treatment. you gotta treat your AI kindly.
To draw a comparison to Dave, right? Which kind of makes like Dave's home life make a little bit more sense as well. Dave treats irony as this very like lighthearted thing to be like exploited for comedy exclusively, whereas Bro almost seems to like take it seriously as like an art to be mastered. Like Bro is sitting at the meta irony part of the wheel, where you know you get irony, or you get sincerity, and then you have post irony, and then you have post irony, and then you loop back around to meta irony, which is completely inseparable from sincerity. That is where Bro is operating on purpose, and he's like doing both at once. Like he says in this conversation, oh, you know, it was ironic, but it was also sincere. You know, it can't be one without the other. It's very interesting. I really like his way of viewing all this shit.
It almost feels as though Bro has this sort of like honor bound, like Dave views irony in an ironic way, but he views the world through this ironic lens. Because that's what he picked up from his bro, and that's how he thought that's how you're supposed to act. But no, Bro is holding this as like, this is the paramount of what a man is supposed to be, I guess, or like the ideal, you know? And I just thought that was interesting. It's like, you take irony in the most sincere way possible, but because of that, your brother has taken irony as a very ironic thing. It's really interesting. I like it quite a lot. It's a very cool dichotomy.
And then the last element of this as well, like, because he's taken this like very guidance, like paternal role, he's also very explicit about the fact that like, you will be the leader, but not really. I will be the leader, right? Like you're gonna be the leader. You're gonna be the one leading the charge, doing all the shit. But I'm the one running things, again, in a very like Rose-esque way, but more of like a team player version of Rose.
Like, this dude is very much about his teammates and wanting to make sure that they are able to handle things if he weren't there, but he also is keeping things from them, it would seem.
Sebastian throws the fridge through the wall.
Put down the fridge. Oh, you gotta say gently.
Oh, there it goes. Bye-bye. The jig is up.
The jig
runs out to get the mail. Jake is being chased by a dragon. And then the much worse horror shows up.
A swarm of
Tinkerbulls. Oh, the humanity. How they extract their pound of flesh. And then Robot decapitates the dragon. It's so cool. He bleats like a goat for ironic purposes. It finally happened. It took us like over 4,000 pages, but it happened.
We're finally here.
Oh my goodness, it's real. It happened.
And then I think that's when Jane levels up.
Jane gets the mail. No, Jane leveled up when the fridge got thrown through the wall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Jane gets the mail and explodes.
And guess what? In the mailbox was a pipe bomb.
It was a bomb. Another assassination attempt has been made on Jane's life, and oh god,
it may have gotten there this time.
And that's the end of Act 6, Act 1.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before we end the episode, I want to go through. I do want to say the very first page right after that is just Hussey standing there with the one down.
One down.
Fucking hilarious. I love that little section with Hussey. It's fucking hilarious.
Kids. I mean, these weird.
Oh, it's such a great. Okay, let's talk about all of these characters. All right, we have Jane, we have Jake, we have a Momland, we have a Bro, and unlike Act 1 of Homestuck, we do have a pretty good smattering of all four of them, despite the fact that we only get the point of view of two of them.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about these characters? Because we're in a similar spot to Act 5, Act 1, where it's like all of a sudden it's like our previous cast has been thrown to the wayside. We have just an entirely new set of characters that we're starting over with.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are your vibes on this?
Or my vibes?
As the new Homestuckman?
So I really like I enjoyed the transition more from the original cast to the trolls because it felt like both of those were of equal quality. I'd say, like all the troll cast, like any of them can pop on screen, and I'm gonna have something to laugh about. Like I'm gonna have a good time no matter what it is. And with the main cast, that's where all the plot is and all the big stuff. So that's where all my interest is invested. But with these guys, I know they're going to play an important role on actually like bringing the story to a close. I just don't really feel as invested into them. Like Dave's really cool. Oh, not Dave. Bro's really cool. But even then, like I was more immediately hooked on Dave when he popped up. Like I don't know. Like I like these characters, but I do feel as though it does feel like kind of a step down in terms of like, oh, like they're not gonna get my top tier character list. I don't feel like these guys will make the cut. Maybe Bro.
I'm in a similar spot to you, a little bit of a different one, but in a similar spot. Like these are not bad characters, right? Like they're not bad, right?
Yeah, no.
This was a fun reading section.
Yeah, I had a good time.
I had fun. This was nice. There's some interesting shit being brought into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is not bad by any means. This is good, but coming off of Cascade, coming off of our previous cast of characters, like they're not pulling their weight. Like Jane and I more mean this about Jane and Jake specifically, because I would like to put forward. You may have noticed as well, like the way that these characters are being written and introduced is like different from like the trolls in the original kids were.
Yeah,
like the whole vibe of everything feels off, and I don't know how to really like describe that in like logical terms.
Yeah.
It really is just like the atmosphere has changed.
Yeah.
And I would like to describe this phenomenon as being an Act 6 character. But what's important to note is that being an Act 6 character with this new vibe does not mean you are good or bad. This vibe exists separate from whether or not something is good or bad. I would put forth Momland as being a great Act 6 character.
Yeah.
She shares this vibe, but especially as we go forward, you're going to see I really like Momland a lot. I put Momland and Bro on a very similar level of like quality.
Okay, yeah.
Jane and Jake feel like Act 6 characters that don't have much to do or say or be. Think about how John was like introduced to us. Like I said before, like we get to see John go through, like struggle with all of these like obtuse, ridiculous systems, and we get to bond with him, and like the way he interacts with everything is super fun. On a similar level, like John is good with people. John like slightly changes depending on who he's talking to. He's very clearly able to like understand his friends in ways that are just super nice to see. Like he talks differently with Dave than he does with Rose, than he does with Jade, right?
Yeah.
Jane and Jake really feel very static.
Mm-hmm.
There doesn't seem to be much going on. They have some surface level traits that make them kind of fun, right? Like, I had fun with them, but I don't feel like there's anything more there other than like some jokes that I think are funny and like some character things that I think are like some surface level traits that I think are pretty entertaining. We haven't even gotten to his point of view yet. And Bro was the character we had the most to talk about. Because Bro is immediately interesting. And there's like some meat to dig into. And he has like 2 conversations. And then his autoresponder also has 2 conversations. Yeah. Right? Bro, I don't think feels like a quote-unquote Act 6 character. Bro feels like an Act 1 through 5 character.
Yeah.
I really like him. I put him on a similar level to the original 4 kids. I really like him quite a bit. And same with Roxy, but I've still like partitioned Roxy off. But on a quality level, I hold Roxy up to a similar level.
Yeah.
I already said her name, so I'm just going to say it. Do you want to talk about what you were saying before with the shipping a little bit more?
Yeah,
because I also have some thoughts on that here while we're here.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I don't have any problem with a romantic interest budding out of like 2 characters that seem to mesh. A thing that Acts 1 through 5 have done really well is making characters that seem like they would have nothing in common blend together because of that difference. Where with this, all of the relationships almost seem very surface level. Like, I get that they're all very close friends and know each other by this point, but at the same time, it's all just like it feels like the difference between like 2 characters that for a long time getting together and like a cheesy like sitcom type deal, like a teen drama or some shit. It almost seems too blatant, but I don't know. I
surface level is a really good way to put it.
Yeah.
Or let me put it this way, right? Acts 1 through 5, be it the kids or the trolls, characters were established, and then they went into relationships. Right? With this, Jane, one of her character traits is established to be that she has a crush on Jake.
Yeah.
That's like a part of her character, is that she has a crush. It's not a result of her character. It's just been stapled to her as a character trait.
Yeah.
Whereas like with like Roxy, who also does like a lot of flirting in this, I think it just works a lot better because it's clear that like a part of her character is that she's flirtatious, right?
Like,
it's
that
not,
makes sense.
Her character is not, I have a crush on this person. Her character is that she, like, a part of that is that she likes to be flirtatious just in general.
Yeah.
Right? Where it was like Jane, there's not much there. There's not much there with Jane. There's not much there with Jake. And while I find them enjoyable to be around, there's not much substance. And even in Act 1, there was still substance with John that we could talk about. We could talk about his like weird relationship with his dad and like the fun, like specific, like hyper specific ways that he views the world through and stuff like that. Yeah. There was still substance to John, even in Act 1, where everything was like goofy.
Yeah.
And I just don't see that here with Jane and Jake. And so a good way to put that is like Jake and Autoresponder's conversations are fucking incredible. They are great. How much of that is because of Jake?
Yeah.
Not much.
Like 2.5%.
Jane says shucks buster. That was kind of funny.
That was hilarious. I
like that she said that. But like so we're gonna get, I feel like, more substance. I say I feel like, I know like in the next reading section, because we're going to spend more time from the point of view of Bro and Momland.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be nice.
What you said is actually like a very solid point of like, it does feel like Jane's crush on Jake is very much just kind of like a thing on top of her character, which there isn't much there. And it's just like, all right, well, also she likes other guy. That's cool, I guess. And don't get me wrong, the way both Roxy and Jane express their relationship seems to fit character. Like Roxy's very coy about it and shy, and Jane is always very blunt and upfront and just like, Roxy's very just like, oh yeah, no, he's hot. I mean, he's always saying these goofy words and like shucks busters and shit, and pulling out his kerchief. Like the way they're responding to that stimuli makes sense for them, but it doesn't feel like we have any reason for Jane to be feeling this way, other than the fact that Jake's just kind of cute, I guess.
The defense you'll hear for a lot of this is people will say like, oh well, these are 16-year-olds. Like, of course they're gonna be like angsty because we're not dealing with 13-year-olds anymore. We're dealing with 16-year-olds. They're gonna be dealing with like hormones or whatever. I'm like, I'm okay with that. It's not that it's here that I have a problem with.
Yeah,
it's the way that they're implementing it. And honestly, I don't even have like that big of a problem with it. Right?
Yeah, no.
It's not like it's a negative. It's the lack of a positive. It's a neutral. Right? I feel like that's... I know I keep saying it, but it's important to get across. Like, this was good. This was fun. I had fun. I like this. I know... where it's going is interesting, right? I'm invested. I like these new characters.
Yeah, no.
It's just, like, a clear, like... Whereas Roxy and Bro, I think, hold up incredibly well on a similar level to the original kids, Jane and Jake do not. We've gone from having 4 amazing characters to 2 amazing characters and 2 passable ones. So it's just a bit of a downgrade. Yeah.
And I feel like it wouldn't take much to add something to these characters, like give them a purpose or drive that feels...
I feel like you're hitting into what I want to talk about next, which is how do you feel about the overall like pacing of this?
Okay. To me, the pacing felt a bit off, in the sense that everyone is already pretty hip to the game plan. We're not having to rediscover this information, which I understand from a writing perspective, but not having to see these kids go through the big thing of like, oh, your world's ending and you have to do something about it. That was a big part of the previous acts that I feel like, I don't know, it helped me connect to these characters because it was like, man, if I were 13 or 16 having to fucking deal with the end of causality, I'd probably be pretty shooken up.
You bring up a great point, which is that what has happened... This is trying to act as the new Act 1 for these characters. Do you remember in the first episode, I talked about how people consider Act 1 the slow part of Homestuck, and I disagreed?
Yeah.
This isn't the slow part of Homestuck still. We're not there. There will be a very specific point where I point out this is the slow part of Homestuck. But this is definitely slower than Act 1.
Yeah.
Act 1, it establishes 2 of its main cast, gets a foot in the door on establishing the other 2, establishes the world they're in, the mechanics by which the entire story will be told, goes in detail on the mechanics by which the story will be told, then establishes and goes into detail about the entire mechanics of the game that they're going to be playing, that will then be fundamental going forward, and then by the end of Act 1, John is in the game. He's in. Where are we left at the end of this? There's a lot of interesting questions being raised. There's interesting shit in here, right? But in terms of actionable, what has happened?
The biggest thing...
Jane got blown up.
Is that Jane got blown up.
Jake is fighting a robot.
But Jake's fighting a robot, but that's not really concerning to me because both Bro and Jake are aware and understand that this is going down, and I don't believe Jake would let... I don't think Bro would let Jake die here. Yeah, there are things happening, but there are not things being accomplished, and I think that's the distinction here. Things are happening, nothing is progressing. Yeah, we're still kind of treading water here. So I guess I would like to leave this on. Act 6 does get better. This is already good. Like we've said, this was fun. We liked it. This was already good, but like it does get better again. It will ramp up into cooler, better things. I don't want to end this. I feel this is definitely our most negative episode, which is weird. It's going to come off as a lot more negative than I want it to be. No, it was a good time. The way I would put this is that we've dropped from a 9 to a 7, right? Yeah. Like from a 9 out of 10 to a 7 out of 10. Yeah, I'd say that's fair. That's the way to think of this, I feel. And 7's still a great score. 7 is great. Marginally above average. Yeah. So there we go. Next week, we're going to read through Act 6, Intermission 1, and Act 6, Act 2. Okay. That's what we're going to do next week. There we go. This was a pretty solid time. All the fans out there, if you're listening for the first time, hey... click that subscribe button, please. we're expect this type of tone going forward. We're going to be very... I think there's going to be more just like bouncing back and forth between like things we like and things we don't like than there was in the first like 15 episodes of the show. Yeah. But
like I said, this is 7 out of 10. I liked it. I enjoyed this.
And I won't know if I hate Act 6 until the end, so...
Yeah, but as of right now...
I like it.
I'm vibing with it. It's nice.
I am excited for our boys to get back. And then once they pop up, I'll be in love with the story again because that's when my boys will be back.
Yeah. All right. Oh shit. What's
Oh no.
The wall.
The wall.
I can see the wall. Here we are. We're going to travel through the yard. I'm going between the fenestrated walls. I can see Act 6 over there. We're making our way there.
3 feet.
Oh my god. Here we go. We're going so fast. Is that a robot Andrew Husky over there? What's going on? He just said one down and now he's pointing a gun at us. Oh shit. Quickly, E.T., tell Andrew Huskies he's pointing a gun at us about the things in the description of the video that you can find. It might help us.
If you're angry ass out, just go to our Patreon and subscribe. I think you'll enjoy giving us money.
God.
You can follow us on Twitter and join the Discord.
You can follow us on Twitter at GrubCast and join the Discord. Oh no.
Lord.
Oh god, he's pulling back the hammer. He's going to fire.
Okay, well wait. I make music occasionally.
Yeah, you can check that out in the description. It's cool. Okay.
Please don't.
We'll see each other in the next episode of GrubCast.